It's a pleasure to welcome you to our training platform. For this video, and just like other ones you've watched, our key objective is to get along with you, dear teachers, improve your teaching skill, and then make you more efficient in the way you handle your responsibilities as a teacher, because we know that your responsibility is a crucial one. So we are still looking at how we can use best methods of teaching in the face of the changing dynamics of education occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic. And in this video, we'll be spending quite some time to talk about the issue of classroom management. Classroom management is one key area in the life of a teacher where a teacher has to show that he has the requisite skills to manage a classroom and ensure that the element of learning that is the key objective of his activity is achieved maximally. So, what is classroom management? Classroom management refers um, to a wide range of or variety of skills or techniques that a teacher adopts or uses to help the learner to be organized, orderly, focused, and then to pay attention to tasks and academically productive during the class. We said classroom management refers to the wide range of variety of skills and techniques that a teacher uses to keep learners organized, orderly, focused, attention on tasks, and academically productive during a classroom session. So, having this at the back of our mind, we will begin to wonder what are these wide range of activities that a teacher can put off to help him better organize his class learners to ensure that learning takes place maximally and all the learners in the class benefit from his learning, for his teaching. And so when classroom management strategies are executed effectively, teachers maximize the behaviors from learners, behaviors that could impede both the individual learning progress or the learning progress of a collective group. So to ensure that he obtains maximum benefit from the process of teaching and learning, a teacher adopts a series or wide range of or a variety of practices or procedures or strategies that are aimed at ensuring that the overall objective of his class is achieved. And that is what we refer to as classroom management. Generally speaking, effective teachers tend to display strong classroom management skills, while the hallmark of inexperienced or less effective teachers is often disorganized classes. Disorganized classrooms that are filled with learners who are working so hard on paying attention. So it becomes a problem for learners to even pay attention, and that is the primary part of the entire learning process, because before anything can be achieved, you have to get the learners to pay attention. That is often very crucial. And so a person who is not organized, a teacher who does not know his appropriate methods of handling a class, will be said to be inefficient in classroom management skills. So to get the benefits of this video respecting the inputs that a teacher has to take in order to ensure adequate classroom management, we're going to be doing a comparison with the ineffective or lax teacher with the methods that an efficient teacher could employ in maximally getting the best from the children or from the learners. And so let's look at what the approach that an inexperienced lax teacher will employ to manage his classroom. Some of the methods that a lax teacher or inexperienced one will employ to get the learner's attention, respect, obedience is force, the use of force. Oftentimes, he exerts his personality on the children or on the learners. He makes them see that he is in charge, not just because he is lovingly in charge and wants them to obey his method of doing things, but he exerts it in a forceful way. He forces or extorts obedience, compliance from his learners. And the learners spend so much time struggling to adhere to the rules and regulations of the classroom rather than learning. That is the difference here. And so we said a lax or inexperienced teacher uses rules and strategies to make the learners sit and learn. And sometimes he also uses same force to ensure that the learners on a private level learn, or even forces learners into a group activity. Another approach that an inefficient teacher could use is punitive measures. He uses punishment in getting the best, or trying to get the best from his children, because we wouldn't say he gets the best, because the approach that he uses will not allow him to get the best from his learners. And so he tries to get the best from his learners, but even so, he does not achieve the best, because the approach he's using is false, is faulty. So he does not use a proper approach in doing so. Another method that he uses is to establish do's and don'ts. Do's and don'ts. These are do's, these are don'ts. You don't do this, you do this. If you do this, there's a punishment. He comes into class, everybody knows he's around, and everybody runs to take a cover, and all the noise that the class were making, the misbehavior, everybody comes to a quiet place and then pretends to concentrate. Sometimes still having the restlessness in their hearts, and they are subconsciously still working on their previous acts before even the teacher comes in. Before he gets the attention of the children, even when he starts talking, the children or the learners pretend to have given attention. He doesn't get the attention of the learners, because they are simply frightened into sitting in their respective seats and pretending to pay attention to whatever he's saying. This approach doesn't work for too long, because it doesn't enhance the adequate learning atmosphere that the class is supposed to enjoy, so that they could get the best from the learning experience. A lax teacher also builds a wall of difference between himself and the learners. He stays aloof. The only thing he does is frighten them into accepting his rules and obligations. That is what an ineffective or inexperienced teacher does. But let's contrast that with methods that a good teacher, an effective teacher who has the best methods of classroom management will exhibit. Remember, we have defined classroom management as all the approaches and strategies and methods that a teacher puts in place in ensuring that the learner is well organized and is purposeful and has a direction and is able to achieve set objectives and tasks that are assigned to him or the group he belongs responsibly, on time, and dutifully to his benefit and the benefit of others in the class. And so now let's look at it. A good teacher uses the updated methods of managing the classroom. What are these approaches? Well, he uses a variety of improved learning experiences, pleasant approaches, and strategies to facilitate learning. And that includes, we will classify them into about 5 groups. There is behavior, place and environment, expectation, material, and then attitudes. We're going to classify them under this basic subheading. We said behavior, place and environment, expectation, materials, activities, and activities. And so under behavior, how does a teacher what strategies does he use? A positive attitude. The teacher comes to class having a positive attitude. He believes in the learners. He knows that the learners are capable of giving him what he wants. He knows that he has confidence in the learners' ability to respect him and to do their assigned tasks. He has confidence in the learners to respond positively to his lessons, to respond positively to learning, and to make improvements that are desired. He has that positive attitude. And so that positive attitude reflects on the learners as well. They are confident that their teacher is confident in them. They know that the teacher is confident in them. They know that the teacher respects them to that extent. And so that positive attitude that envelops the class makes it easier for him to get respect voluntarily, willingly, out of love and passion from his learners. He also comes to class with a happy facial expression. So immediately he enters the class, or she enters the class, the facial expression infects the learners. In fact, they respond the same way with their facial expression. There is an interchange of emotions within the learner and the teacher. In doing so, they will continue to show that they agree with their teacher in everything that goes along in the class. Another is the teacher passes encouraging remarks on the learners. He passes encouraging remarks. He does not just feel confident about the learner. He expresses that confidence in words. He expresses them in words. He makes the learner knows that he values them. They are an integral part of the class. In fact, the most essential part of the class. Each learner comes to feel wanted, loved, and desired. And so each learner finds his place in the class because the teacher deeply expresses his confidence in the learners. And so that encouraging remarks that the teacher expresses on the learners each time motivates them to continue to do what is expected. We also have respect for learners. He has respect for them, and he treats them fairly and also justly. All of them have equal place in his record. The second approach that we said earlier was pleasant environment. This includes welcoming and well-lit classroom. A classroom that is welcoming and well-lit. The classroom is not clumsy, crowdy, dirty. No, the classroom is welcoming and well-lit. There is proper ventilation, and then you also have good arrangement of appropriate learning materials. Learning materials are appropriately arranged, and so there are positioned in good places that are appropriately meant to be. Then he has adequate seating for his pupils or his learners or students, and also adequate seating for himself. Good position of the teacher sitting area. The third is expectations. In expectations, the teacher will ensure that the quality of work that he expects the learners to produce is of the best. Yes, and the learners also know that the teacher expects the best from them. And so because they love him, he has a good relationship with them, he respects them, and they enjoy their place in the classroom. Certainly, they give the teacher the best. They often strive at giving the teacher the best. And so the teacher enjoys that relationship. The children also, or the learners also enjoy that relationship. Another, under the expectation, is that the way that the teacher expects students to behave towards one another is also stated. And the learners also respect one another. The expectation is also expressed in the agreement that the teacher has with the learners on certain issues. Those issues are discussed in class, and there is an agreement between the teacher and the learners. The teacher also has a good relationship with his learners. And then the students or learners themselves also are involved in setting the requirements for certain things that take place in the classroom. And so at this point, like we said, our videos are going to be short so that at the end of the day, we will be able to digest them, raise concerns, and apply the things that we have learned. Remember, in this video, we have reenacted 3 basic areas where a teacher has to employ the best methods for classroom management. We have said, first is the behavior. In behavior, the second, that he engenders the appropriate behavior in the classroom. The second is that it makes the classroom a pleasant environment for the learners to operate. And then third, that he states exactly what he expects from the learners. And the learners cooperate with him because of the fact that they have mutual understanding and respect for one another. So we will see you in the next video. But before we leave you, we want to leave you with this assessment I want you to do. Why do you think that the behavior of a teacher towards the children, the environment where the children learn that the teacher conditions, and what the teacher expects of them is crucial factors in appropriate management of the classroom? We will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for being part of this video.